Yeah.
Worked hard all my life. Took my kids to, I don't know if I can say it, Clitheroe. They had a private place there where my daughter went.
Right.
Well, people to me at the moment, I'm 57, okay? People to me want. They want their Netflix. They want their new super duper phones. They want their new BMWs or Audis, freeze. They want, and then they expect everybody else to help them out. Well, you have to pull, not everybody, don't get me wrong, not everybody, but you have to pull your belt in. They had a private place there where my views or Audis, A3s, they want, and then they expect everybody else to help them out. Well, you have to pull, not everybody, don't get me wrong, not everybody, but you have to pull your belt in. And do without things to do what you have to do.
But Bob,
And
like the average
unfortunately-
childcare cost is 14 grand. You're not going to be able to. You can cut back your Netflix all you like. You're not going to be able to afford it.
Listen, I was just working on the beans
Right.
in Clitheroe
Yeah.
with the council wages, and the council wages are very, very poor. And yet I could do a private school with
But
my
things have
daughter.
changed. But things have changed. I mean, when was that, Bob?
She's 23 now.
So when were you doing that in Clitheroe?
My average wage was about £250.
Yeah, but when
So if
when
you-
was this?
I moved up north in 2000, I think. She was 6
2000.
months. Yeah, about 23 years.
But housing costs are
22.
so much more expensive than it was. That things have changed. Like it's not that easy.
Don't laugh. My poll tax was dearer in Clitheroe than what it was downtown.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, of course. There's
Yeah,
always going to
so
be some
everything-
variations, but
that's
but
it. So
but
the
how
variations-
but housing costs are massively increased in the last 20 years, both in house price costs and
yes,
rents in relative
yes.
terms. So
But
it's not the same.
They still want their good phones. They still want this.
Oh,
they
come
still
on,
want
Bob.
that.
Like Bob, you can get look if your average cost is 14 grand, right, for a childcare place, you can have a rubbish phone. You can have
Yes,
no Netflix.
exactly, I did.
Well, okay,
I did.
fine, yeah, but smartphones weren't around then. But all right, like
Oh,
You know,
I know. Well,
but
no, tell a lie, mate. I had a phone because I was doing Continental beforehand.
okay. But my
So
point
I
is,
had a
what I'm
mobile
saying
phone
to you,
then.
what I'm saying to you is, you can cancel your Netflix, whatever that is, £8 a month.
Yeah.
You can get a
Yeah.
cheap phone or whatever. It ain't going to amount to 14 grand.
I know, but that you have to pull your strings in.
Yeah, but what?
To allow you to do it.
Yeah, but what?
I had to. I wasn't on mega money. I had a cheap little runaround car what I bought from the auction for £500. I run that until it got on its knees, and I worked my backside off, and that's what we've got to do.
But is
You
it not
can't
possible,
just
Bob?
expect.
Is it not possible, Bob, that there's something wrong? That what you're basically saying is that individual agency matters is most. Is it not possible that the structure doesn't matter how much effort you make and how much agency you try and apply, that the structure of the system is so bust, is so broken, that it doesn't matter what you do as an individual? Surely you can see
but
that.
they got more help. They've got more help now, and I do agree with that gentleman saying that his daughter or his child could not get in because there's not enough people.
Yeah.
There's somewhere along the line, something's not right. The government should actually just say, right, that's how much you get and fund it down, like they do with the doctors. They get so much per child.
All right. Okay.
And not actually beg money from us, like to beg money to do the job.
All right, Bob. Bob in St Helens there. We say perfectly fine, but as I say, I do get a bit frustrated with this argument about Netflix and phones or whatever. This is not modern Britain. Like, it doesn't matter. You can get rid of Netflix, you get rid of your phone. When rent is so high, when mortgages are so high, when inflation is so high, when childcare is so high, childcare costs are so high, you can cut that back as you want, but like the sort of slightly boomerish view that, that if everyone, it was just as hard back then as it is now. No, it wasn't. Look at any of the data, any of the metrics. Things are harder now than it was then. I know. I know some of you will be spitting into your afternoon coffee at that, but it is just factually true.
I'm sorry to say you've caused me considerable distress
by gosh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, well, your opinions, unfortunately, seem to be shared by the majority of people. But the fact is, you're trying to say that the fact that this piece of land is green, it doesn't matter. What matters is it produces food. And we cannot keep on losing land which can be food producing. Because in future, owing to global warming, we are not going to be able to import food in the same quantity as is currently the case. France, one of our main suppliers, is now experiencing drought in their southern parts, and it's moving further and further forward.
Yeah. So don't you think it might be a good idea to try and abate that climate change then by investing in?
Well, yes, obviously, but the little bit that we can do, come on, that's.
But Chris, you're in Croydon, right? You're in Croydon, so you're not far from the Greenbelt. Whatever. Then what is the land like around the Greenbelt? Do you think there's much food being produced there?
No, there isn't much food.
Exactly.
But the Greenbelt represents the lungs of the country, and incidentally. To the untrained eye, the green belt looks much the same as usual. To the trained eye, to a biologist, it's a horror story. There used to be buzzing of grasshoppers. There used to be lots of wildlife. I went on a country walk last week for about 5 miles with some other friends, and we only saw one butterfly in all that time. This country is under stress.
Yeah, but also, Chris,
you've got.
But you know what else? But you know what else puts our environment and wildlife under stress? The endless exploitation and emission of fossil fuels. So we've got to have a way of. There's got to be a balance around ensuring that future generations, our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, have a clean power supply, and that isn't going to come from fossil fuels. That's going to come from solar panels, and it's going to come from wind turbines. And we've got to put them somewhere.
Yes, but you don't have to stick them on land that is capable of producing food. And the other thing you've got to do...
A lot of this land is never going to be producing food. In fact, we often pay farmers not to use it to produce food.
Well,
so we might as well put...
We're going to jolly well have to in future, as I'm telling you, because there'll be a shortage of it. And the other thing we've got to do, of course, is to recognise that there's a limit to the number of people who can live in this country, which there...
90% of Britain is undeveloped.
Oh,
90% of our land.
Yes, but look, that's an invalid analogy.
Why?
You like an economist. You seem to think that putting another city.
No, Chris. I shall tell you what I'm like. I'm like a 33-year-old man who's too many of his friends and people I know can never afford to buy a house. Because older generations constantly say there's not enough room or we can't build them because we don't want them to be there. Because frankly, they're selfish because they already have those homes. And that's what's outrageous.
Look, the point is they can't have a house because we've been importing a city load of people every year for about the past 10 years.
Often to build the houses.
The past decade at least. And that's the point, the problem of that.
Right. Okay. We have an ageing population, and we're going to need, in years to come, we're going to need people who can support that ageing population. We know the situation with the NHS. It's a perfectly legitimate debate to be had about immigration and so on, but there are trade-offs. And what I'm saying to you is that sometimes that trade-off is worth building on green land, which frankly isn't very green. It's not very pleasant. There's no wildlife there. It's simply there, and we treat it as if it's some sort of hallowed land. It's worth putting solar panels on it. It's worth putting wind turbines on it. Sometimes it's worth putting houses on it.
Now, I'm just an ordinary lad.
Yeah.
Worked hard all my life. Took my kids to... At the moment, I'm 57, okay? People to me